Published 1831 Est, the 16th of November 2017. Updated 0837 Est, the 17th of November 2017. The father of a 49-year-old arrested over Gaia Pope's disappearance said last night his son could not stand the missing teenager but was 110% innocent. Carpenter Paul Elsey is being held as detectives revealed that clothes similar to those the missing 19-year-old was wearing had been found near a 70-foot cliff top. His father Greg Elsey claims his son, the uncle of Gaia's school friend, was being wrongly targeted by police and said he was away working at the time she disappeared. Greg's grandson, the friend of Gaia's, had previously been arrested. Shortly before his son's arrest, Greg Elsey told the Daily Mail Paul could not stand Gaia. He wanted nothing to do with her. He said her family were bad news. Defiant Greg Elsey, pictured right with grandson Nathan, said his 49-year-old son did not like Gaia but is 110% innocent. Gaia Pope's pictured bereft family have described the situation since she vanished on November 7 as a walking nightmare. Rosemary, Gregory and Nathan Elsey were pictured leaving Gregory Elsey's home this morning. Gregory and Rosemary's son Pale remains in police custody on suspicion of murder, but following the arrest, Mr. Elsey said his son barely knew Gaia and would not hurt her. Last night he said he's protested his innocence 110% and I have 110% belief that he will be released when they find out he has done nothing. Police yesterday cordoned off a section of the southwest coast path around 200 yards inland from the cliff edge between the beauty spots of Anvil Point and Dancing Ledge. Suffered a trauma. Gaia Pope was last seen on November 7 after her father said she became upset following an interaction on Facebook. It is around an hour's walk from where Gaia, who suffers from epilepsy, was last seen in Swanage, Dorset, and 2 miles south of her family home in the village of Langton-Matravers. The owner of the clothes has not yet been identified, but the discovery by a walker was significant enough that Gaia's family were informed. Gaia was wearing grey and white woven leggings, white trainers and a red checked shirt with white buttons when she vanished less than 2 hours after announcing the discovery of the clothes yesterday. Dorset police confirmed they had made a third arrest over Gaia's disappearance. The man was identified by his family as Paul Elsey, a carpenter who specializes in church restorations. He is the uncle of Nathan Elsey, 19, who was arrested on Tuesday along with his grandmother Rosemary Dinch. They were later released. Paul Elsey shares a first-floor flat with his mother, Mrs. Dinch, 71, in Swanage, where Gaia was last seen. CCTV footage of Gaia on November 7 shows her running down the road towards Paul Elsey's flat at 3:40 p.m. She is said to have banged on his door in a distressed state, and Mrs. Dinch claims she then stripped to her bra. The pensioner then says she convinced Gaia to put her clothes back on, except for a black jacket which was later recovered from the address. Detectives had been trying to track Paul Elsey down since he went missing on Tuesday afternoon, a week after Gaia disappeared. They seized his VW Golf and obtained a warrant to search his father's £460,000 bungalow in Romsey, Hampshire, on Tuesday. According to his father, Paul Elsey claims he was in Weymouth, Dorset, on the day Gaia disappeared, carrying out work on a property he owns there. Rosemary Dinch was seen leaving her ex-husband Gregory's home, with her oxygen tank. This morning Gaia's father and cousin gave an emotional interview on Good Morning Britain today, urging anyone with information about the teenager to come forward. Gaia left with Russell Brand and write on social media as epileptic, and also badly affected by a traumatic incident 2 years ago. Her family has said investigation. Swanage was where Gaia was last seen with clothes found 200 yards from 70-foot cliffs popular with hikers. Ongoing search. Forensic teams combed films for evidence on Thursday after finding clothes believed to belong to Gaia. Last pictures. Gaia Pope was seen buying an ice cream at a petrol station in Valley Road between Langton-Matravers and Swanage at around 2:55 p.m. on Tuesday, November 7. Shortly after she disappeared, police, family, friends and worried residents of Swanage have been searching all the areas Gaia pictured is known to frequent in the area. Last night Greg Elsey said, "It's disgusting how the police have performed. I wanted to make sure Paul had got legal representation before he was taken away. The only reason Paul has not been around is because he felt he would be victimized and so decided to stay out of the way. The flats belonging to Paul, Elsie, his mother and Nathan are still being combed over by forensic officers, and teams of officers and volunteers have been searching woodland and ponds around Swanage. Gaia's family remain hopeful she is still alive. Yesterday, her father Richard Sutherland broke down in tears as he told how he just wanted to give his daughter a big hug. He said, "Gaia, you know we love you, you know that. We'll get you back and we'll have that big hug." He added Gaia was very upset. She suffered a trauma a couple of years ago. She was involved in a situation where some guys assaulted her. This had a really devastating effect on her. Anguished, the father of the missing teenager, Richard Sutherland, broke down during an interview to ITV News and said his family has been left distraught by Gaia's disappearance. The last movements above shows the last known movements of Gaia Pope. She was spotted at a petrol station near Swanage at 2:55 p.m. buying an ice cream, having been driven there by a member of her family on November 7. She was then seen on CCTV sprinting along Morrison Road in Swanage before being spotted banging on Rosemary Dink's door in Manor Gardens. The 19-year-old's family maintains she is alive and have thanked members of the public for their support. As the hunt for Gaia continues, her father Richard Sutherland fought back tears as he thanked members of the public and the police for their help in finding his daughter. Emma Sutherland said this, along with memory loss from her epilepsy, had messed with her head and made her confused. Gaia's actress mother, Natasha Pope, has urged people to check garages and vans in case she is being held against her will. Detective Superintendent Paul Kessel said searches were ongoing and police would not stop until we find Gaia, who they do not believe had left the Swanage area. The only reason Paul has not been around is because he felt he would be victimized and so decided to stay out of the way. Earlier this week, Gaia's aunt Talia Pope, 59, told Mail Online there is still no evidence to prove she is dead and police have not found a body. She said, "We are just searching until we find her. The search is continuing for my niece. It's ongoing at the moment. It's inconclusive, but we are just searching until we find her. We've got a long way to go yet." 2 days before her disappearance, Gaia posted a message on Instagram that said she was worried about being shut up and put in a cell with the hashtag #UalaSue, and one follower urged her to run somewhere safe. And on the day of her disappearance, her father said she had become upset following an interaction on Facebook. Shortly after, she fled her aunt's home, where she had been staying, and ran to Nathan Elsie's house. Mrs. Dinch, 71, was arrested hours after she was interviewed on local TV, where she described how Gaia pounded on her door, saying, help me, the mother of missing teenager Gaia Pope pictured right. Natasha left, launched a Facebook appeal desperately urging people to check their garages and vans because she could be held prisoner. Their family distraught. Gaia's loved ones say the world has been turned upside down following her disappearance. Pictured, Gaia left with her mother Natasha center left, sister Claire center right, and her twin sister Maya right. A neighbor, Jack Good, 25, said there had been reports of shouting and screaming from Mrs. Dink's flat on the day Gaia disappeared. Mr. Good said, the person who lives below told me they heard shouting and screaming on the day it happened. It would have been not long before she went missing. Debbie, Nathan's mum, went over and apologized to them disturbing them. He added that Gaia appeared to be good friends with Elsie. The cousin of Gaia Pope made an emotional statement on Wednesday, saying she believed her relative was still alive. Mariana Pope Wiedemann said the family were devastated by her disappearance but have not given up hope the 19-year-old will be found. Speaking to Meridian TV, Mariana said the CCTV footage of Gaia running from the address where she was last seen alive was frightening for the family. She said it was just an ordinary day, then she disappeared. It's frightening looking at the CCTV because we don't know what the story is. We just know she is alive. Mariana said the family were left shocked and confused by the arrest of 19-year-old film extra Nathan Elsie, as he was considered a friend of the teen. He was arrested on suspicion of murder with his 71-year-old grandmother Rosemary Dinch, but later released by police. Nathan and Gaia were friends. They went to school together. I can't believe he has any reason to hurt her, said Mariana. I believe she is out there, she is just waiting for us to find her. Gaia's mum and dad are devastated. There are no words for what they are going through. The community has been absolutely incredible and we are so profoundly grateful for what everybody is doing and we ask them to keep going. He said, I saw Gaia, I think she was good friends with Nathan. I probably saw her walking to his flat with him twice a week before she disappeared. They spent a lot of time together. Gaia is from nearby Langton Matravers but had recently been staying with an aunt in Swanage, a few streets away from the home of Nathan Elsie. Neighbors there said Gaia had visited Nathan's flat 2 or 3 times a week before she disappeared, but weren't sure if they were a couple or close friends. A female relative of Emily Brylick, a close friend of Nathan's, said, I have heard about the arrest, I just don't believe it. He is a very quiet young man. I have known Nathan for quite a while and he is good friends with my granddaughter. They go to the same college. He comes here and I take her to his house. He is a very gentle young man who doesn't go out. I just don't believe it. Hundreds of volunteers as well as police officers and search teams have been involved in trying to find the teenager this week. The Coast Guard and hundreds of members of the public have been searching for Gaia on cliffs, woods, nature reserves and beaches. Her older sister Clara Pope Sutherland, 21, told the Daily Echo on Tuesday, we just want her to come home. SHE's a home bird. She would never do anything like this. SHE's just not the kind of person to go off like this. She'd always let us know what was happening. That's the most concerning thing of all. We're so worried and we just want to know SHE's safe. The last reported sighting of Gaia was at Mustink's address in Manor Gardens on Morrison Road of Swanage. She was said to be wearing a red checked shirt with white buttons, grey and white woven leggings and white trainers. Comedian Russell Brand, who has more than 12 million followers on Twitter, retweeted a poster with information about the appeal. Speaking about the disappearance, Gaia's cousin Mariana Pope described the situation as a waking nightmare. Sorry, we are not currently accepting comments on this article.